Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Look at this signage.
Holy fuck.
It's a good signage.
People are going to think we're legit now, eh?
Oh, we are legit now. We are legit now. So legit, quit our regular jobs.
Such an obvious joke.
Too legit.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit. Too legit to quit. Too legit.
So this all this is getting cut
This?
out.
No, this is the intro. This is
No,
the
we
intro.
can't. Oh my god.
Stop it.
I hate it when he does this.
You do it. You take it. You enjoy it. Because this is the Big Businesses Podcast, episode 12.
Episode 12?
Episode 12, week 11 of the NFL, friend.
I love it, man. I love it.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Yeah.
It was a
sip
big
on
week.
the mezzy. It was a big week.
It was a big week, yeah.
Well, every week's a big week anymore.
But this one kind of felt pivotal, right? So a lot of our league matchups kind of, it's kind of setting the tone. It's shaping who's going to make the playoffs, who's not going to make the playoffs, stuff like that.
That's what happens over time.
I know.
Don't forget to turn your phone on frickin' vibrate.
I'm vibrating right now.
I believe it.
Beautiful.
Weirdo. Yeah, a big week last week.
Yeah.
And how about that introduction?
Yeah. Thank you, BA, for the plug. We love it, eh? Nice
Our boy
little
BA,
audio clip.
the number one scoring person on the Dallas Cowboys.
The number one scoring kicker.
Yeah.
And
No, I don't. You know what? I don't think he is.
maybe not anymore.
Austin Seibert,
But,
I
yeah.
think he is.
But he's number one in our hearts.
He is number one in the heart. He kicks right down the goalpost of my heart. That's what he does. Brandon Aubrey, if you guys don't know, Brandon Aubrey is the kicker for the Dallas Cowboys. He's part of the Aubrey Gate.
Endorser of our pod.
Endorser of our podcast.
Yep.
And for a few weeks ago, if you guys didn't catch that, you want to catch that episode, we actually had a live auction because someone had to use their real money to buy them back after they accidentally dropped them.
Yeah.
He was also an amazing
great
kicker up
punishment.
to that time because he was getting tons and tons of fantasy points.
Yep.
Winning people weeks, week after week. But since then,
Yeah.
since Aubrey-gate.
So since Aubrey-gate, so he spent $110 real dollars to put him back on his team, which was 4 weeks ago. In the first 6 weeks of the season,
89 points.
89 points from Aubrey. Last 4 weeks
Standard
since
format.
Aubrey-gate, 22.9
Yeah,
points.
not a lot.
Only.
Not a lot.
For the bargain price of $110. So
Yeah, and that's mostly because the sunshine in his eyes. Can't see the goalposts.
that's a good
That's a-
transition right there. Is it time for our sponsor?
It's time for a sponsor.
All right.
And you know what? Today's sponsor is Jerry's Shade Shop. So, folks, does your team miss wide open touchdowns because of the most basic design flaw in history? We get it. The sun's blinding. Your players can't see, and those easy TDs slip right through your fingers. CD Lamb. But fear not, now for just $4.3 billion, you can block that sun and start catching those game-winning touchdowns with Jerry's Shade Shop. Yeah, you heard it right, just $4.3 billion, but you can't put a price on championship, can you? So if you're ready to upgrade your field and finally stop losing to that one sunbeam, visit jerryshadeshop.com today. jerryshadeshop.com. Catch the game, catch the win, lose the sun.
I love it. That was so good.
Thank you.
That was good.
I was pretty excited to do that one.
Yep.
For side note, completely super comical.
What? The whole
Everything
thing?
about it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Everything
Absolutely.
about it.
Yep.
Everything about how angry Jerry Jones is, to just how unfortunately bad. Because
Jerry Jones versus the Cowboys is the greatest rivalry in football, eh?
it might be.
Like,
It might be.
No matter what, he just finds
Yeah.
a way to just keep them relevant, right? Good or bad.
Just
Pay
tough.
them or don't pay them.
tough.
Bring in talent, don't bring in talent. It's Jerry Jones
Yeah.
versus the Cowboys. I fucking love it.
As a lifelong Lions fan,
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have animosity, but not like this.
No, this
like
is-
we've
This is
had
next
it up
level
for our
stuff,
owner
eh?
a few times.
Yep.
William Clay Ford, then Martha, hiring people like Matt Patricia, and all. I gotta give it to you, Cowboys fans. When you do something, you do it right. You have probably right now the worst owner in the league. And just so much garbage. But hey, if we keep going like this, it's gonna be a long podcast. We're trying to shorten it up. Let's shorten it up.
But he might be
Let's get
turning
past
into
this.
crazy Al Davis, like the way that Al Davis was when he was like 98 years old and still running the team.
Yeah.
That's what's starting.
And not to get like political,
Yeah.
but he's kind of doing like a Joe Biden. Like I don't think he knows where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's just honestly taking crazy
He's gonna
pills.
fall off he's gonna fall off the
Jerry,
runway again soon.
You
so.
are worth a lot of money. Take this team, either give it to your kids and sit on a rocking chair drinking lemonade for the rest of your days and enjoying football instead of trying to GM a team into the ground.
It's just a thought.
Now, for you probably love it, being obviously an Eagles
yeah.
fan. And most of the world likes it because the Cowboys are, easily the most hated / loved team, because if you're not a Cowboys fan, you hate the Cowboys. But let's just be honest. When the Cowboys aren't playing well, the NFL feels weird. It's like when the Steelers aren't playing well, the NFL feels weird.
It's true.
You want to see them play well because it makes more drama. And I'd like to start seeing them play well.
But this is a fun year. This is a fun year to watch.
It's weird.
The downward spiral, right?
It's super weird. Yeah. And
I'm always up for a good spiral, right?
It's like it feels like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't like the awkward comedy.
Oh, I love it.
don't like it.
I love that.
And right now watching the Cowboys is like awkward comedy.
Yeah.
Like, this is making me feel weird. Not just because he's talking about dongers of his players, but just like the outright, I'm trying to fire the radio hosts. I'm trying to blind my players. There's just been so much. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into the damn show. We're going to talk about this all day long. League recap. Start it off, brother.
So, league recap. What do we have? So there was a lot of low-scoring matchups. One of the teams in the
Terrible.
league, one with 77 points. That's my pet peeve, right? Like you're in another matchup, you get like 100 points, and you lose your matchup, and then you look at another 2 matchup spot underneath you, and you're like, really? This guy got 77 points, and he's gonna pass me in the standings? That's
wild.
Give him bullshit. But
nothing worse than being in the standings lower than somebody.
Yeah.
Seeing they're like second last in points for.
Yep.
Sorry.
No,
they're like
we
second
that.
last for points for.
Yep.
But they're like easily beating everybody in points against. They're like no points against.
We should give something to the points against champion, right? Because I feel like I crush points against every year, but yeah. So before I tell you my small violin story, what about you? You lost to the last place team.
I lost to the last place team. Injuries are piling.
Injuries, man. Yeah.
The fantasy football man. Injuries, man.
Wasn't pretty, eh?
It's been a shit year, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's been a very difficult year. I didn't have our league in particular. Every league kind of like this. There's good and there's bad drafting locations.
Yeah.
I've always been, for the last, I think, at least 4 or 5 years, probably the 5th or 6th draft pick, which I don't know why. It's just totally random.
Yeah,
it just sucks that it happens.
Yeah.
And I hate drafting that spot. I
thought you had a good draft, man. I thought this was a good year for you.
I thought I had
up
a decent draft.
Now your back's against the wall. You're 4-6.
Yeah, it's
ninth
not
place.
pretty.
And you got your boy this week, Snorlax. So.
And his team is healthy now. He's got his CMC back. He's got great matchups this week.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get a little bit of help because the first half of last night's game which we're going to cover in a few minutes, he has Jalen Hurts, right? So I was like, oh, sick. Hurts is having an off week.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he had a pretty good
fourth
quarter anyways.
Yeah.
And then he had B-Rob, who Eckler was running wild.
He's a shoo-in for a touchdown almost every week.
And I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing him do well. I like watching B-Rob because I have him in a couple other leagues, but getting a shot in the leg a few
so
times.
Yeah, you got it. This is a must-win for you. So
give me the violin, baby. Where's it at?
We don't have it. But just pretend to play the small violin. I'm glad we're doing this pod a couple days after the matchups, because if we were recording like Tuesday morning,
so upset.
I literally, and I'm not making this up, I don't even think I could actually tell a story.
I would have
Tuesday morning. I would have been like actually way more emotional than I would. I'm actually getting mad as I'm already like gearing up to tell a story. Yeah. So this week, my loss exposed the fact that I am an absolute psychopath. Because I couldn't sleep Monday night because I was so mad. Tuesday morning, I was just in a shit mood all day, and now it's Friday. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm getting red, eh? Like I'm getting So, long story short, down by 8 going into the Monday nighter.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good. I got Tyreek Hill, and he's got Demarcus Robinson. Okay. So the fact that you're even at the point where you're starting Demarcus Robinson gives me some confidence, right? So all that I need is just something from Tyreek Hill, right? So he gets that touchdown in, I think, the third quarter. And I've been waiting 2 hours for this touchdown. He gets the touchdown, and I'm like, oh my God, the fantasy gods are finally starting to see things my way for once, right? So you think, right?
You'd think.
So I go up by 1.5.
Yep.
And I spend a total of 3 hours watching a brutal Monday Night Football game.
Terrible game.
Watching Demarcus Robinson have 0 for the entire game. Rams down 11. Game is over. No one gives a shit. Nobody's even watching this except me, the guy who's against Demarcus Robinson.
There was nobody in the
who has 0.
stadium.
No.
It was just you.
I don't even think Demarcus Robinson's parents were watching the game. They probably shut it off by then, right?
They probably did.
So they're down 11. There's 30 seconds left in the game. And what does Stafford do? He throws a 23-yard pass to Demarcus Robinson for no reason. No bearing on the game whatsoever. Game ends. I lose by 0.8 points. And I don't think I'll ever be the same. So
You play to win the game.
So thank you, Silent Ninja, for that. But
Yeah.
and
I
insult to
respect
injury too.
Yeah, he sends a message.
He sends me a message.
Yeah, play the message, baby.
I haven't listened to it yet, mind you.
All right.
But
Put on Silent Ninja's message.
so this is from the one they call Silent Ninja. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it. Ooh,
Hold on, this is the best part.
that's raw.
Such a Silent Ninja thing to do, eh?
That was
That bastard.
That was
You bastard! How could you do that to me?
that was disrespectful.
That was like, yeah.
That was disrespectful.
That cut deep, man. That cut deep.
The only thing worse than that was last night's football game. So let's talk about some
Yeah.
game recap.
Another
Recap.
good transition.
Game recap. Game tape. Game recap. It's not wearing a cape, damn it.
This is a game something.
So
yeah.
we were filming on Friday afternoons. Last night's game was the Eagles versus the Redskins.
Yeah.
Which
These
let's
Thursday
normalize
games,
talking
man.
that again.
Like, just to generalize this, these Thursday games have been
It's been
brutal.
That's not true at all.
what?
No, it's just a recency bias.
Well-
Last night's game sucked.
Last night's game sucked, but the other Thursday
Pull it
night
up,
games.
Jamie.
No,
Pull
no.
it
Well,
up.
even last week you said it. Well, you missed last week's game, but last week's game, the first 3 quarters were like meh, and then the fourth quarter always heats up. But getting tired of these Thursday night games where teams aren't turning it up till the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Turned up.
Get turned. So, I don't know. So the game overall, great for me. Great ending. And
Ravens Bengals last week, probably one of the best games of the year. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Texans Jets.
that sucked
That was
for the
actually-
majority of the
That
game.
was actually a pretty bad game.
Yeah.
Vikings
Rams, I
good-
like
not
that
a bad
game.
game.
Broncos,
Broncos.
Saints.
I love it. I
You
love
love
it.
that?
I
Yeah.
love that because Bo Nix is the best quarterback in the history of the football league.
I'd rather hang
not.
out with. Yeah,
He's
no,
not. 49ers Seahawks. That was a good game.
Was it?
I liked it because
I
the
don't even
Seahawks
remember.
lost. Buccaneers Falcons.
That one was a good game
That was
because
a good
Kirk
game.
Cousins had like 600 yards for no
Cowboys
reason.
Giants. Worst game of the year.
We've had what, like 2 good games all year.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Actually,
yeah.
it's been bad.
I'm right actually. So
Hey, you know what? Once in a while.
yeah,
Squirrels
I'll take
is
it.
not something
I'll take
like
it
that.
while I can. Right.
So slow start last night.
Very slow start.
Oh, I got to sorry, cutting off.
Yeah.
If anybody was catching that on DAZN in Canada, I'm not sure if they had the same ads obviously everywhere else, which they probably don't. So last night on DAZN DAZN, we're watching the game, and I see Jake Elliott miss his second consecutive field goal.
Right.
And it cuts to commercial. The very first commercial is a FanDuel commercial.
No way.
And Dolph Lundgren is like, hey, it's talking about basically like you're
The Russian?
yeah, but like,
Yeah.
the whole FanDuel thing right now is like you're bettering alter ego. Like he's
Okay.
always talking to you, right? It's like
Yep.
your alter, and he's the alter ego. He comes in, and the fan he's talking to is an Eagles fan, and it's been this way for a long time. It just happened to be.
I
after
haven't
this.
actually seen this.
It's
So.
really good.
Yeah.
I'll pull it for you later after the
Yeah,
show. So it's an Eagles fan, and it's like, oh, the kicker doesn't miss. That's the first thing Dolph Lundgren. And it was just after he missed his second.
Well,
field
Dolph,
goal.
actually, he does. He misses 2 field goals and an extra point
was
in one game. That's
Perfect.
freaking great.
It was pretty
actually.
amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I'll show you it after.
Can't
'cause
time that any
it's,
better,
It's
eh?
quite good. But first,
I wonder
he
if they
says,
knew
like,
that. They're like, oh, he must play that commercial right now.
It's possible.
Yeah. Possible, yeah.
Having
That's
worked
awesome.
in advertising,
Yeah.
it's possible.
There's
Pass
no
that
reason
down.
for me to even add this next point, but Devonta Smith, it was his birthday last night, so
There's no reason for that.
it was literally one of the reasons why I started him. He's been kind of bagoo the last couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? He's going to get a touchdown on his birthday.
He
And you
didn't.
know what? He didn't get a touchdown on his birthday.
Neither
so-
did AJ Brown, who I thought was going to touchdown, and neither did.
And he usually shreds Washington and nothing, but it was just like a nothing game.
It was a terrible game.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a terrible, terrible game.
Yep.
Washington defense did play well for 3 quarters.
Yeah,
Played
to,
really well.
to shut down the Eagles, and they were clamping Barkley down for 3 quarters.
They were.
Yeah,
And
so
then
like
it
I
was the
mean,
Barkley show in the 4th quarter.
yeah. So Hurts vultured another touchdown from Barkley first before Barkley even went off. I was like, oh, Barkley's got 26 carries for 70 yards, and Washington D is just playing inspired football.
Yeah, I gotta bring up this
He
stat.
gets to the 1 yard line again, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, they gotta reward the guy. He just brought him there. And then what happens? Another Jalen Hurts vulture. I mean, I love it. I'm a Hurts fan.
You also love it because of our bet.
I love it because of our bet, but then selfishly, I have Barkley, so I want all the points I can get for my matchup this week.
So
But, yeah,
I'm going to bring up this stat because this is a sidebar to whoever knows us knows that there is this bet that I said at the beginning of the year that Jared Goff was going to have more fantasy points in standard format than Jalen Hurts. And I'm going to share with everybody why I made this bet with him. Because I thought without a Jason Kelsey and with the addition of a running back like Saquon Barkley, they'd be less apt to run a tush push because you have the ability to hurt your quarterback at any time they're running the football.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So without the tush push last year, Jared Goff had more points.
Yep.
So I thought with an improved offense in
Interesting
Detroit,
theory. Yeah.
an improved offense in Detroit, but still a very strong running game. They're mostly a running team. Actually, they're pretty even, but anyways. And the addition of that and the removal of Jason Kelsey, that was going to be really close, and I thought Goff was maybe going to have more points.
Yeah.
So this stat is pretty impressive here. Saquon, this is not including last night. Saquon Barkley now has 9 touches that landed at the 1 yard line, which is most in the NFL. The next play after those, Hurts touchdown for one, Hurts touchdown for another, a Hurts rush, which he didn't get in the end zone, but then they ran another Hurts touchdown after that. Hurts touchdown for another one, Hurts touchdown for another one, a Saquon rush where he lost yardage, then they went to a Hurts pass touchdown, a Hurts rush to a fumble, which was then recovered by the defense, and a Hurts touchdown.
Saw a lot of common denominators in that, right? So I know.
I hope.
As a Barkley owner, I'm like, holy crap! Like, why wouldn't you just reward the guy who brings you down there? But on the flip side, it's like the tush push is still clearly working.
Yeah, I bet on that not being the case.
And I don't know the stats, but I would bet that I've never seen a quarterback and a running back with combined quadriceps the size of these two guys. Right?
Yeah, but you have a running back for a reason.
Yeah, you do.
I wouldn't now.
Clearly they can do it, and clearly they've been doing it. And fun fact, last year, guess who led the league in running backs getting tackled or getting down at the 1 yard line?
Was it DeAndre Swift?
It was DeAndre Swift from the Eagles. So this is 2 years.
Wired.
Yeah, you're
Super wired.
You're locked in, bro. So that's 2 years in a row of this, right? So Barkley owner, hate it. Philly fan, fucking love it. So
Yeah, you do until Hurts gets hurt.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
And honestly, like
We'll get there when we get there, but
Right.
right now they're
I hope
flowing and they look great. So it looks great. He's getting behind those guys, and
when you play the Lions in the
nothing
NFC
bad has
Championship,
happened. So
when you play the boys,
that's what it feels like, though. It feels like this whole pod is like a collision.
You're gonna
course
see
for
like
the
a
game,
DJ Reader or like a Jack Campbell come down the middle and just stuff your neck, and all of a sudden
Jack
you're a
Campbell,
quadriplegic.
I'm
So see you later.
terrified. Yeah, cool.
You guys been lights out. Guys been lights out. Anyways, it is what it is.
So what ended up happening after that?
Everybody saw it. Let's move on to the fucking news.
No, no.
Come on, let's just
that's
move
the
on.
best
It's gonna
part.
be an hour and a half long.
Okay, I'll be really quick.
Okay.
So Barkley, who I own in 5 of my 7 leagues, goes off for a 23-yard touchdown, which puts him at exactly 100 yards, which we have a 100-yard bonus in our league, so that's an extra 3 points, plus a touchdown,
Okay.
right?
Here we go.
I'm like, okay, that's good. He's at like 23 points. It's fucking awesome. I'm like, I can take that for my matchup. About 11 minutes later, if I had to guess, 40-yard touchdown. So he just fucking shredded it. Washington hung in there as much as they could, and the Eagles just looked fantastic. Eagles D, too. Special shout out. If they were an explorer, the Eagles D would be Magellan right now.
Oh, I see what you did
that?
there.
You like that pun?
Yeah.
So
one thing to note about the Eagles, and I'm going to note this.
do tell.
We do have officially, I got the official shout out from the police department that we have a fraud alert.
What do you mean?
The Washington Redskins are potential
Oh,
frauds.
I thought you meant the Eagles. Yeah, Washington being
Washington's-
frauds.
it's
I
potential
absolutely
fraud.
agree with that.
And it comes from this. Jaden Daniels is a very talented kid. He's having a great rookie year.
sure.
There's no question about
Yep.
that. He's going to have a long career, and I think that the Commanders are solid and very
And
difficult team to
they're
play
moving in
against.
the right direction, regardless of
No
wins
question.
or losses here. Yep.
No question. But their wins are coming from teams that were under 500 the entire season.
Yep.
They haven't beat a team that was over 500 at all this year. when they played them.
Yep.
They haven't really, and as soon as they play a team that's over 500, they lose. They get crushed.
I think they won early against like Cincy and Arizona.
Yeah,
but both those teams hadn't gotten better than they are now.
Yeah, and Cincy still technically isn't over 500.
Actually, yep.
Right? Arizona is, but they played them. They were like
1-4, I think, to start the year. 2-4, 1-4.
They were playing terribly. And the other people they beat were like the Giants and like I don't know.
And factor in that Chicago game, right? They had the Hail Mary, or else they would have lost that game too. So even if that's a loss and they're at 6-5, people are starting to forget already about.
So they're not a team that's
Redskins.
They're not a team that's a walkover team by any means. They're still a tough team, but they're definitely. I don't think they're contenders at this point.
No,
not this year. But going forward, they're definitely a team to watch.
Yep.
And I'm not taking them like
all said and done. I think that they do get a playoff spot this year, though. Their schedule's a little bit soft. They're already at 7 wins. I can see them making the playoffs.
I can see them being a 10-11 win team.
Yeah, exactly. But then I think that's like a building block for next year. So I can see them being good next year.
Yeah, I really.
As an Eagles fan, I'll take the wins now because Washington's definitely going to be a team to wreck with in the future. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. Take it now because they have a long future ahead of them.
Yeah. All right.
Finally, let's get into the damn news.
Time for the news.
We just made that up.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
That was good. Yeah.
Most importantly, let's talk about Goff. Yeah.
For the news, you want to talk about Goff?
You know, he was voted in the first half as the first half MVP by NFL and Fox fans.
From Detroit. No,
across the country.
I know.
But I'm going to say this. After last week's episode, like, is he still in contention for MVP? Technically.
Get your cameras ready.
But no.
No,
he's not.
No.
There's way too many people that are MVP candidates past
5 interceptions in the game is going to halt any of those types of talks.
And statistically, yes, terrible look. At least 2, probably 3 were not his.
The one at the end of the half when he just kind of launched one.
There were 2 that were really bad. They were 100% just on him.
But there were some that were on him for sure.
One thing I will say, coming back from that, their defense played lights out. But for him not to be not phased at all, they still come back and lead out for drives and win that game.
No, you know what?
It's impressive, man.
And you can just smash teams week after week and look flashy and stuff like that. But these are the character wins that they need. The fact that they came back from 20 down against a quality team in Houston.
A team that has a great defense.
Yeah. So
and I will.
It's a huge win for them.
Massive
different kind of win. And it's one that gives them the belief, like in a playoff game, like we can win, right?
For sure.
Houston plays a very, very similar defensive scheme to what San Francisco would do if they end up playing in the playoffs. Yeah. And so the fact that the Lions kind of solved it within the game and ended up winning is massive.
Aaron Glenn, huge win for Aaron Glenn on that one. Defense was lights out.
Yep.
It held Joe Mixon to 43 yards, I think?
Usually Aaron Glenn, he's just like, I'll ask him a random question. He's like, that Ben Johnson.
Well, Ben Johnson, the offense had a bit of an off game off the start, right?
Yeah.
But I think that was a lot to defensive scheming. Anyway, so I don't want to go too much into that. There's lots to it. Let's go into Daniel Jones.
For sure. Daniel Jones.
Possibly, and let us know in the comments below after you like and subscribe, is possibly the worst quarterback of our generation, or his generation, sorry.
Yeah.
And Drew Lock is locked for the job after week 11. You think?
I think so, yeah. So Daniel Jones actually has something in his contract.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, they have to pay him $23 million guaranteed next year. So now that it's the bye week, I think this is the time to do the switch. Season's a write-off. It's another lost year for them.
The fans won't hate that.
No, I don't think so. I think the fans are ready for it, and I think the fans want it.
Any change at all might save the coach's job.
Yep. Maybe, but who cares? Honestly, but for Daniel Jones, why wouldn't you bench him instead of risking the fact that he plays and then it gets hurt and then you got to pay him $23 million? This is the time to do the clean break. I think you're going to see Drew Lock. I don't think Daniel Jones plays another snap.
I don't want to see it play another snap.
Yeah.
Just as a fan of the sport,
I've seen enough.
I just can't do it anymore.
I mean, as an Eagles fan, again, I haven't seen enough. Keep doing what you're doing, but yeah,
but as a fan of the sport,
what a piece of shit, right? So,
you know what? But Dayball going from Coach of the Year 2 years ago to just one of the worst, and a very great team to watch.
Yeah.
Going from that to this.
And
you rewatch that? You watch that Hard Knocks?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's the reason why Barkley's not there, right? So it's crazy that
Hard Knocks hits hard. See what I did there?
I do.
Some guy named MVS, Marquez Valdez
Scantling.
Yeah. Is he real? He's time to pick up.
He's not real.
He's not real.
He's
folks.
been getting picked up in some of the leagues
Yeah.
that I'm in. I'm just like, oh
By
my
all
God,
means.
come on. Derek Carr threw a long bomb and he caught it.
If you're in my league and you pick him up, start him against me, please.
Yeah. But again, it just shows how depleted the Saints are that this guy can just like walk in off the streets after 4 years and not doing
Yeah, that guy.
thing.
That was the game of his.
It wasn't even good 4 years
That was
ago.
the game of his life.
Yeah.
last week.
Absolutely.
Life.
That's the game he tells his grandkids about, right?
Yeah.
He's got pictures in his basement.
Yeah.
Like
Him in the air catching a football.
Yeah. He's like, I did it. I did
It's
it. No,
just,
I did that. That was me. Yeah.
That was him
Yeah.
in a regular season game.
Yep.
From Derek Carr's eyeliner.
Yep.
Isaiah Pacheco, he opened up his 21-day window.
Yeah, so he'll be back soon. I don't think he'll be back this week. Honestly, I don't think he'll be back next week either. But I think in 2 weeks from now, they'll start mixing him in for the playoff run, right? So they want to get him in game shape for the playoffs. So,
But like,
I love Hunt though. I love what Kareem Hunt's been doing, and I don't think it's like Pacheco comes back and then Hunt just is that's it. He's
no,
done,
they're gonna be.
right?
I think it's gonna be.
I think it'll be
committee.
a healthy split.
Yeah.
I could see them leaning more towards one guy, like in a playoff
Probably
game.
Pacheco.
And it will.
As he gets his game
the
speed and
pendulum
game
will
strength
swing
back up.
back to Pacheco, but Hunt has been so solid in this time frame for them.
And he knows that offense really well.
So yeah.
And I am super surprised about Kareem Hunt. I'll be honest with you. Another one, Josh Allen's TD record. He just passed.
That's cool.
Or he didn't make pass. He tied, and he's gonna pass. O.J. Simpson with the Bills.
The late
That guy's a
OJ.
that guy's a straight killer. I'll tell you. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Josh Allen is a straight killer.
Yeah. He's just killing the league.
He's
right
been
now.
convicted as a straight killer to
Of the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the league. Yep.
You should see him the winner. The glove fits. The glove fits for Josh
Would you
Allen.
say that he's giving all the other quarterbacks in the league a Colombian necktie?
I think he might be.
Yeah.
I think he might be.
I would agree.
Josh Allen is a menace.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should lock him up.
Fun fact though about you're on fire today. I fucking
it's
love
'cause
this
I'm
shit.
exhausted.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what about Josh Allen though?
What's that?
It's amazing to see how good he actually is because people forget when he first came into the league, he was a project. He wasn't great.
Yeah.
He needed to really work on his mechanics, and it was what's his name? Jordan Palmer. Do you know who that is? It's Carson Palmer's little brother. He has a quarterback camp, and Josh Allen went to see this guy a couple years. I just know this off the top of my head. It's not like I did research last night at like 2 a.m. or anything. So he worked with this guy.
Saquon gets him riled up. Eh?
I was so pumped.
Saquon
I'm
gets
like,
his
I can't
butt pumped,
sleep.
you
I can't sleep. We're gonna read about quarterback camps.
You ever see that meme with the guy from that fucking death? I'm messing this up.
So the quarterback camp, right? So they worked on mechanics, but if you look at the list of guys that have gone to this camp, like everybody is like a stud. Like Mahomes was there at one point. Your favorite quarterback in the league, Sam Darnold, went to see this guy, and so maybe that has improved something in his game.
I don't hate Sam Darnold. I just see him for what he is. He's an absolute fraud, and the Vikings are frauds.
But there's a good list of guys that went to this camp. But anyways, he is solely responsible for fixing Josh Allen. They fixed his mechanics. The guy has been top elite guy, and he will be for the next 10 years.
He didn't
but
fix his brother.
But yeah, what? Who, Carson?
Yes.
Carson was good for like a 2-year span where everyone's like throws for 4,000 yards, but wins 2 games a year, right? So
Yeah, it's a tough time for him. Tough time for him.
Anyways,
Moving on. Cooper Rush is even worse than we thought, and I love it. Sorry we're talking about Dallas again, but is it Trey Lance time?
I would. Why not?
Why
right?
not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yep.
Throw Trey Lance in there.
Yep. Rush actually changed his first name. Did you know about this? And it's an official name change.
It's not.
Yeah, no, it is. This is
Okay.
real.
Okay.
Pooper Rush.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he's Pooper Rush.
He's
Yeah.
super pooper.
Yeah, super pooper.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He was sponsored by, what's that, Cottonelle? Name it.
No, it's genius. It's a genius move. Right?
Charmin
Yeah,
Ultra?
it's the only time he's gonna get money other than from Jerry Jones. So why not? Right?
Yeah, sponsored by Charmin Ultra. He's poop.
Yeah.
He's poop.
Yeah, I get it.
He's poop. It sucks.
It's Snorlax the bear on the label of the
He is.
toilet paper. Yeah,
You could wipe your butt with Snorlax.
he's a bear. So yeah,
Handsome bear.
he's a handsome bear, a teddy bear.
But yeah, is it Trey Lance time? Yeah, I think it is Trey Lance
Why
time
not
because you have
roll
nothing
out?
to
Let's
lose.
see what he's got. Like, there's no way Trey Lance can be any worse than what Cooper did last week, right? So the guy was the 3rd pick in the draft. I still don't get why he's not getting playing time, right? But Yeah, okay.
We
Can
got
I
a
do
stat.
it?
Yeah,
I
you're
can
doing
do
the
that.
stat, baby.
Draft
You brought it
Wizards,
up
I'm
to me.
sorry if you're still watching the show. I haven't talked to you in like 4 weeks, so you probably hate me.
No, we said we want them to be better.
Right.
We genuinely
I'm
do.
rooting for them now.
I wish the Cowboys
now
would.
that they can't make the playoffs, I'd rather see them win games and then get a worse draft pick, right? So,
They're jonesing for a win.
the election was last week, right? So here's a little political stuff for you guys,
what's
right?
that?
Bill Clinton served 4 years. Bush served 8 years. Obama served 8 years. Trump served 4 years. Trump lost the re-election. Biden served 4 years. And now Trump won again. Why am I telling you this? All before the Cowboys advanced past the second round of the playoffs. All that shit has happened.
It's a lot.
So, yeah. That's our political news of the day, right? So, Jesus, Dallas. Jesus, Jerry Jones.
7 presidencies?
Jerry Jones versus the Cowboys. Best rivalry. It's like,
Yeah.
It's more exciting than Paul versus Tyson, eh? So, there you go.
I don't know about. Well, yeah.
I do want
you
to
know
see
what?
Paul
Yeah.
versus Tyson, though.
I do want to see Paul. Listen, I didn't want to talk about it right now. Give fucking them. They didn't sponsor the pod this time. So that's why. So let's go to the last thing I hear on the news. Then we'll do our top guns, and then we're gonna shorten it up from there. Coach of the year so far.
Who do you like?
So there's no
Shocker.
question that I do think, because he has been voted for it a few times, but he's never gotten it. It might be the year that Dan Campbell gets Coach of the Year, but there are other coaches that I think have done an excellent job.
There's honestly a lot of guys at this point in the season.
There's been some great coaching.
Yeah, there really has been. There's a lot of teams that have turned around. There's a lot of powerhouse teams.
And I shit on the Chiefs all the time.
Yeah,
Just despise them.
he does.
But there aren't two, like, you have to give credit where credit's due.
Yep.
But I don't think that team would be where they're at right now if Andy Reid wasn't their coach.
Absolutely.
And he's definitely a Coach of the Year candidate.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't lost the game. How can you not? Like, yeah.
No question.
How can you not factor that in?
You have to be objective.
Yep.
And I'm an objective person most of the
Dan
time.
Campbell put on a coaching clinic last year, and
it's gonna be even better
and that
this year.
carried over this year. They're like, now they're not just like a team on the rise; they are the team. Right?
And on the way up, we're gonna bite your kneecaps. I don't care if you have 3 toes and 1 ass cheek.
So I don't hate it at
Dan
all.
Campbell.
Those are like the two names that come off the top, right? But the other guy who you probably won't hear about, but it's like absolutely why he would be my pick is Mike Tomlin. And
I don't disagree at all.
yeah, I mean, he's had year after year where he's just put on such great coaching displays and taking teams that should win 4 games and going 9-8 and vying for like wild card spots with shit quarterbacks, right?
And let's not
he's
forget
been doing
about-
that with Pickens. He's been doing that with Mason Rudolphs.
Yeah.
He's been doing that with all these guys. So this year he went Fields and he went Russell Wilson.
And he made that choice to go to Russell Wilson.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
and
paid
even
off.
that in itself has really shown that like
Yeah.
he wanted to risk it for the biscuit, right?
And he risked it, and there's no question he's a candidate.
They
I think
look
those are the top
great.
3
They're-
candidates right
Yeah. So Tomlin would be my pick. I wouldn't hate any of the other guys though.
now. Neither would I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate Tomlin getting it. I think that's justifiable.
Yep.
I think that's...
And it's like it's based on this season, but you almost want to factor in how good of a coach he's been leading up to this. So now that he has like a legitimate
Yeah,
team, look what he's doing with it, right? So
And it's hard to disagree with that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard to disagree with that. It's a good one. Let's get into the Top Guns now. We've kind of modified the next couple of things. We introduced Top Guns, and now we're going to kind of give some qualifications to these. We're also introducing this week for the first time ever a Super Spies.
Super Spies.
And then we're also introducing the Pine Pros.
Pine Pros.
Now, let's give some qualifications to tell you what we're looking for when we do these. The rules for a Top Gun. The quarterbacks, the running backs, and the tight ends, and the defense must all be finishing in the top 5 for that week. We're trying not to pick the regular locks.
Right.
But we're thinking about these guys are probably going to finish in the top 5, and the wide receiver is going to probably be in the top 10. Wide receivers we gave the top 10 because there's usually obviously a lot
So
more
many
players.
of them, right.
So that's what we got for the Top Guns. So we're going to each pick one of those, and then we think the guys that we're picking are going to finish
Because
in
we
the top
could look
5 or
like
10.
geniuses if we said Barkley and Henry every week,
single week.
But yeah, like what kind of a segment?
The hell,
is
that wouldn't be any fun.
So this will give you some insight. Most of these guys are probably owned in leagues, right? If they're not, you're probably in a 10-team league that nobody gives a shit about. But but these are guys that could potentially finish as the top gun of the week, right?
Yeah, so for Top Guns, we're each going to pick one for the quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, defense.
Love it.
My pick for a non-lock, but what I think is a top 5 quarterback for fantasy purposes this week. I'm looking at Brock Purdy against the Hawks. You know, Seahawks are coming in, big game for the West Coast.
Yep.
Brock Purdy's coming off a heater, but he's not looked at as one of those locks, but he's gotten players back. Him with CMC back.
He looked really good last week, too.
CMC back in lineup makes him look like a superstar.
Yep.
And takes
Makes
a lot
it
of the
easier
pressure
for
off.
him, too, right?
Makes it a lot easier for
So
him.
more yards, obviously, with like those screen passes, and
Yes.
and that was his first game back, and he threw for 350
But
yards last
the
week. so-
attention has to be given to CMC all the time now.
for sure.
Right? So he's going to open up receivers.
Yep.
Receivers more open.
Or the man they call George Kittle, my boy.
GK.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also sponsors. He doesn't sponsor them.
No, he doesn't.
We'll get him one day, though. Who you
Taste
took
rainbow. No, wait, that's Skittles. Never mind. So my quarterback is a guy who's still a little under the radar, Justin Herbert. So
Yeah.
people forget how good he was in his rookie year and how good,
So good.
He was supposed to be like a Josh Allen.
Heck
he was
of an arm
supposed-
on him.
That Justin Herbert.
Heck of an arm on him.
Put the herb on it. This guy has been spectacular at the beginning of his career, and then he's nursed injuries, and he's been on shit teams. They're really trending up.
Yeah.
And they really look like they have they have one of the best O lines in the league. Their defense is awesome.
Lights out.
So this team is toe to toe with anybody that they're playing every week. They're not known as a shit team anymore.
No. Well,
And the last 3 weeks, Herbert's been turning it up, and people don't realize he's still on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues too, which is crazy to
wild.
me. But
yeah, he should be picked up.
so he's playing Cincy this week, which as great as Burrow has looked and as great as Cincy has looked, even though they've lost a lot of games this year, they're always in shootouts. And this is Sunday Night Football. I think this is where the Chargers get some exposure and everybody kind of takes notice and realizes they're for real. So I like Justin Herbert this week for sure.
All right, let's move on to wide receivers.
Okay.
I think this is the last time I'm ever going to say his name because if he doesn't
I hope
actually
he's right.
pan out, then he's Pine Pro.
Yeah,
After this,
I know.
Tyreek Hill. You know, he has a little bit of a wrist injury, but he just can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah.
Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Those
Tyreek Hill, he's got to do it this week. They're playing against, I think they're playing against the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
The Raiders traded away, their best DBs. They're in a free fall.
Why didn't he get
straight up.
9 more yards last week? Sorry. Okay.
And if he doesn't do it this week, I'm done.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no. And I think it's a good call, even though he has the wrist thing to keep reporting.
Yeah.
I don't care. I think Tyreek's a great pick. But
Agreed.
the guy that I got is, fun fact, like a month ago, I had a 12-leg bet. And the only thing that I had left on it was that Calvin Ridley needed 25 yards. And I would have won like $1,200.
And how do you do?
He got 0 yards, but he had like 11 targets for 0 yards. I fucking couldn't believe it.
The world hates us.
The next week, the first play of the game that the Titans had, he caught a 26-yard pass. I'm like, you didn't want to just do that 7 days ago and just make my fucking week, but whatever. Since then, though,
He's been
the guy's
good.
been on a fucking tear, eh?
Yeah, he's been good.
So I never talk about Tennessee. We'll probably never talk about Tennessee again. But
Not much to talk
Calvin
about.
Ridley has just been fire over the last month.
Yeah.
By far leading the league in target share. So on that team, he's getting a 34% target share.
That's a ton.
So every 3 passes, one's going to
Including
Calvin
when
Ridley, so.
Will Levis is there? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
that's Will Levis too. Yeah, so he played with Levis last week and he tore it up. So
That's true.
So I like it. They're playing the Vikings. The Vikings have been allowing a lot of receivers to do a lot of things.
Fraud
so,
alert.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We'll
Ridley.
see. Yeah,
Not Ridley. I'm talking about Vikings.
you're talking about the Vikings. Yeah.
Running backs. So, honestly, pick one of the two. We did Gibbs a couple weeks ago, and I know we're talking about the Lions right now.
This is
but
where it swings
they
back
have
to Monty.
They have a bit of a soft matchup, and
Yep.
you don't take anybody in the NFL lightly. But the Jaguars are coming into
Yeah.
Detroit, and we're gonna lean on that running game and just grind them out.
And you're gonna get so drunk at that game, and then if Monty scores,
you know
you're
what?
gonna go nuts.
I'm not.
eh? Really?
I'm irresponsible. I don't like getting
Wow,
drunk.
look at this guy,
I'm
eh?
not getting drunk in public. I don't want to be that guy.
So reformed, eh?
well, and everybody in public makes me upset. So if I'm already people.
But Monty's almost
Take
a
your
shoe
pick.
in for a touchdown. As much as
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
bank on somebody getting in like an anytime touchdown, that's Monty. This
I think
week,
I
right?
think both those running backs are gonna have some big games. So, but I'm picking Monty. That's my boy. Throw him in there.
I'd agree with
Maybe-
that.
I think he might be a top 5 finish.
Yeah.
What about you?
So mine is, I don't know if it's like, okay, if I was using my head, a guy that I would have.
Preseason, this guy's a lock, but not right
Oh
now.
fuck! Tell me about it. So if this was, if I was using my head, I would have said a guy like Kyron Williams, who's like been great. Off week last week, he'd probably get a touchdown. I'm not saying Kyron Williams. I'm using my heart to my own detriment. Breece Hall, fucking turn it up, eh?
Yeah.
So I refuse to believe that a guy who has 11 touches a game and is still a top 10 running back is not gonna eventually have that game where they give him 20 carries.
And newsflash, you have a heart. Didn't know that.
I have a heart. Yeah. Contrary to what you guys are thinking. So, yeah, Breece Hall, man. I have a heart for everybody except Silent Ninja, eh?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So, Breece Hall, it just, you feel like the Jets are such a freaking mess, especially after last week. The pendulum has to swing. They have to simplify the offense. They have to find a way to just get these easy carries, move the ball. So I think they're going to lean on Breece more. I think it's very highlighted that like Aaron Rodgers is just throwing garbage to like Devonta Adams, throwing garbage to people, and they're just abandoning the run too early in these games.
Yeah.
Even if it's screen passes, but I just, again, refuse to believe that Breece Hall isn't going to have a good game.
Well, they should lean on Breece Hall so that when they lose,
he
has somebody to blame.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
All right, tight ends.
What do you got?
Oh, I'm taking my boy Kyle Pitts versus Denver.
I don't like him this week, but yeah, you like him, eh?
Well, we're trying not to pick locks, right? So that's the thing. I'm trying to pick somebody who I think is a very talented guy, who does have a rapport,
sure,
and and he's had those big weeks.
Yep.
He's going against a tough defense in
Yep.
Denver. He really is going against tough defense. But I think that game is going to be a grind, and I think he's going to snatch a couple of those, red zone touchdowns.
Yep, he blew it up a couple weeks ago. He has looked better.
He has
in
the
last
potential.
Month, so yeah.
Well, he has a quarterback that can throw a football now.
Finally,
right?
Yeah.
And as long as he doesn't drop the football before he goes into the end zone, and fortunately get it anyways. I think he has the potential to have a top 5 week. That's my.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So I'm going to Green Bay, and I'm going Tucker Kraft.
Witchcraft, baby.
Yeah. He's been great in spots. They're coming off bye, so everybody kind of forgets already. They lost to the Lions, but this is their bounce back week against Chicago. I think Jordan Love's a great play too, but Kraft by default is going to get some stuff. He's had some big plays throughout the season. I think he's still a top 8 tight end right now.
I think he is. Yeah.
So I could totally see him just having a game against Chicago. Chicago is fucking bagoo.
Their defense is good.
Their defense is good, but
I think they get a little bit overwhelmed with Green Bay this week.
Green Bay's always had a lot of weapons. That's why people are hesitant to play some of these guys. But Kraft, solid play this week. So. And
before we get into defense, let's go back.
I'm gonna put that part on TikTok. Anyways, so who do you got for
Welcome
defenses?
back, folks. Sorry about that. We have some technical. Okay, let's get back into the defenses for our top guns for the week.
Yep.
Folks, we're going to talk about my boys. Yes, we're talking about Detroit. Detroit is going to be a lock against
Very
Jacksonville.
obvious.
Detroit's been...
But very good.
I can't even say the words without obviously everybody looking at me and saying you're an idiot for always talking about your team, but it's true. Their defense has been good and a lot better than I think anybody really expected. Mm-hmm. And they're going against a Jacksonville team that is probably a Mac Jones-led team this week.
I don't think Lawrence is playing again. Not that it really matters, but yeah. Lawrence is still in Arabia, just so you know.
En nomine Patri, e Filii, e Spiritus Sancti, I bless the Jacksonville Jaguars because they're going to get toasted.
Super religious.
Doing Latin. We speak Latin. Okay, that's my team. Detroit.
Okay.
Plug them in, baby. Top
I like
5
it.
defense this week.
Mine's very straightforward. Pick on the Cowboys while you can. Houston Texans playing the Cowboys. Battle of Texas. And guess what? The team in Texas is now Houston. So.
Yeah.
Boom.
Said it.
I said it, and I mean it. So Houston
sun
Texans
shines on you, Houston, like it does the Dallas Cowboys.
But you know what? Honestly, there's a lot of streamable defenses that have good matchups this week. So I think a lot of people would be fine this week. But those are 2 that you can roll out and not even worry about it.
I think those are gonna be the top 5 Ds right there.
Yeah. Is it time?
It's time.
Super Spies. Super Spies. It's kind of like that. Remember that Will Ferrell Superstar movie? Super Stars. Super Spies.
Ready?
Super Spies.
Do it. 1, 2.
Super Spies.
That's going to be the cover.
I really wanted to do that. I always wanted to do that.
The rules to Super Spies.
Yeah.
These are long shots that are owned in less than half of the teams in the entire sphere.
Yeah. So a guy that is less than 50% owned in leagues.
Yeah.
That we think that could finish as a very, very healthy streamable option, right?
A very streamable option. We're not saying top 5. We're saying they're going to have a good enough week to give you some points.
Yep.
And my guy over here, I'm picking, and you could argue that he's been having a couple good weeks, but I think he's not rostered. He's rostered in less than 50%. That's the rules.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, great matchup against Baltimore. I think it might be one of the tougher days for even the Baltimore offense against the Pittsburgh D.
Yep.
But I think points are going to be on the board, and There is the possibility that Pittsburgh tries to go for a really run-heavy offense, given that they want to keep Baltimore off the field. But I think if they get behind the sticks in any situation, Russell Wilson's going to be giving some moon balls.
Yeah, that's going to be a
George
fucking
Pickens and
eclipse
Pat
out
Fryer,
there.
but moon balls.
Yeah.
Chris Collinsworth is just drooling
Yeah.
at this
Is
one.
this in prime time or is it a 1 o'clock game? I think it's a 1 o'clock game. Yeah. It's
a good question,
It's okay,
buddy.
but
All right, now
if it
go to
was
your
in
guy.
prime time, though, we'd just be talking more moons than fucking...
Just more moons.
Yeah. Yeah. Than,
just
a
a lot of
solar,
moons.
than the solar eclipse or the lunar eclipse.
More moons than Pride Week Parade.
Moon bowl.
Yeah. Who do you got?
So,
This guy's
who
so
do
good.
I have? Oh, yeah. Some guy that I... So, Demarcus Robinson is currently the player in the NFL that I hate the most, but second place is Bo
That guy.
Nix because he fucked me, too.
love Bo Nix.
I'm just getting gangbanged every fucking week, but...
Bo Nix
fucked
a
me,
young Josh Allen.
You know what? The tools are there. He gets points on his feet too, right? So
Tough kid,
the
great
rushing
arm.
yards that he gets is really good. They had a tough outing against KC. They should have won that game.
He might be Offensive Player of the Year.
Wow, slow down.
Rookie, sorry.
Yeah. But
rookie.
I
of the
mean,
year.
he's a guy that has definitely like I didn't take him seriously before the season started. I'm like, it's gonna be another guy in Denver. Denver's gonna be shit, but Denver's good, and they're playing everybody good. They're trending upwards. He's great for fantasy because of those cheap yardage that he could get.
He's those legs too. Yeah, the legs are big.
Cortland fucking Sutton too is a thing. So they're playing Atlanta. I
person.
could see that as a game where they're going to score 2 to 3 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
I like Bo Nix. And he's rostered under 50% of leagues, which kind of surprises me too. So
And their defense never keeps them out of the game.
right.
So they're always in a game that they can win, potentially or at least have a shot to.
Yep.
They're entertaining to watch.
Roll 'em out. Who do you got for wide receiver? I'll be right back.
Ooh. He's going to be back because my wide receiver, who's less than 50% of the leagues, is Demarcus Robinson against New England this week. All the attention is going to be to Cup and Nakua, as it should be. Bunch of bullshit, he's going to say. But with those boys taking all the attention, he's going to be left with some soft coverage, probably often. And Matt Stafford throws the ball everywhere. And if they, they're going to obviously lean on Kyron quite a bit because Kyron's obviously the number one player on that team as far as who gets most involvement. But with Cup and Nakua in there, Demarcus Robinson is going to be open.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
And I think he's a stream
it's
throw.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm happy for you.
7 to 10 points, maybe a tutty.
Maybe 2.3 points and it can win you a matchup. But yeah, no, great pick.
That's my guess anyway. What about you?
So I'm going
Shot in the dark?
Trick-a-Ricky. I like Ricky Pearsall. So
Yeah.
shot in the dark. No, Ricky Pearsall is fucking.
Shot to the heart.
No, I
Which
know,
would
but I
have
had
been
to
even
change it up. I
better
had to change.
because it's pretty much.
Oh yeah. So Ricky Pearsall, he looked good last week.
Yeah, he did.
He had a long touchdown, and I think as San Fran gets rolling, obviously Brandon Hydukin is not there anymore. He's slid into that spot. I know Jennings is a thing.
He's a real thing.
There's
that Juwan
still tons
Jennings.
of weapons. Even Debo could have a great week, but as a
Kittle.
streamable option for a guy that's in less than 50% of leagues, that surprised me too.
That
I would
does,
take
yeah.
Tricky Ricky all day. I
you're
think
in a-
this
if you're in a
kid's got a
12
lot of talent.
If you're in a
so,
12-team league and Tricky Ricky's on the waiver wire, you snag that guy.
yeah, he's on my bench.
If
but,
you're in
yeah.
a 10-team league, I can kind of see it,
Yep.
maybe.
Yep.
But in a 12-team league or more,
I almost, fun fact, started him this week, but I couldn't do it because it was Devonta Smith's birthday. I don't wish you a happy birthday. May God have mercy on your soul. And I should have started Tricky Ricky. So roll out Tricky Ricky if you want to.
Yeah, you made that mistake.
Yeah.
Thursday night games always get you because you want to play the Thursday night players,
Yeah.
so you can you don't get upset about putting them on your bench and they go off and everything.
So you could get negative 0.2 points like Huck Tua 2 weeks ago
Correct.
and 0 points last week
Yeah.
on Thursday. Yeah, but yeah.
Exactly. So running backs.
backs.
My guy that's in less than 50% of the leagues, I think, is going to have a week. And I think he's going to have a week. And again, going back to Denver, weird. Like how much Denver loved today, almost as much
Yeah.
as Detroit loved today.
Yeah. We
I
love
think-
Broncos more than O.J. Simpson. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. The glove.
Who do you got?
The glove fits.
Just to quit, baby.
Yeah. So this Bronco, you could chase this one down with the police. That's for sure. Audric Estime. So
Do you
full
estimate?
disclosure.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't have a ton of info on this guy.
he's good.
I've seen him play a bit, and I know that he was highly
He's a
touted
good,
coming out of
clean
college.
boy. Give him a shot.
But after watching him last week and seeing what the coaches said about him in the pressers this week,
Yeah.
is what's giving me the confidence to say snag them up, and you're going to have a good stream. If you're stuck at RB this week, as I was,
Is it confidence?
I'm starting him.
Or is it a proper estimation? Oh my god. I'm on fucking fire since we took a break, eh?
It's esteem.
Damn. Okay.
No, it's estimate.
Build up your esteem, May.
Estimate sounds like a really like fancy massage parlor.
I like...
Robert Kraft is there.
You going to estimate after the bars? Yeah.
Sorry, Robert. Don't sue me.
Mr. Kraft. Yeah. So he had 14 carries last week. It looks like Javonte lost his job.
Wild, like you have
I know Javonte had like
Javonte Williams.
There's so many guys there, but this is the kid who has the talent. He's youthful. They're going to give him a shot right now, and they're mixing him in while they're still a good team. So I love that pick. I think he's really good.
I hope he's not audristic.
All
right, next one. Let's keep it going before we get taken off of TikTok. Who you got?
So mine's like really deep. So it's supposed to be under 50%. This guy's owned in 18% of leagues. I just have like
that's kind of weird,
right?
He was a
for where he, exactly, yeah. So I'm talking about Zeus, the Greek god Zamir. White. So nothing to talk about in Vegas, but they brought in Norv Turner this week as a special consultant, which is a super weird, crazy, like maybe they're super desperate for anything thing. Zamir White to me looks like fast on some of his carries. He only had 6 carries last week, but like he's hitting
because he has energy. He's only
he's very well rested at this point. I could see him turning it up, and I don't really have a lot of logic to it. Norv Turner historically, if he has any impact in this, has been great with running backs and tight ends in his career.
Yeah.
So if it's a lost season for them, maybe they're bringing him in to just kind of find a way to revamp like the offense to gear towards Bowers and not Madison. I would say it's Zamir White. So they play Miami. It's a super, like, no one's gonna ever play him. But
I'm not watching.
I'm gonna look like a fucking genius if I'm right about this though. But
no
Zamir White.
And
so
we will
that's my
recap these ones next week. So. Tight ends. Let's go through these ones too quick.
Sure.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Owning less than 50% of the leagues. Hunter Henry against the Chargers.
He's been great with
I don't understand how he's owned less than 50% of the league.
I know. A lot of these guys kind of surprise me for sure.
What about you?
So I'm going Jonnu Smith. He got tackled at the one last week. Tua and the offense looks like it's starting to propel like it did last year.
Yeah.
So Jonnu Smith, he's a new addition to the team this year, and now you're kind of finally seeing why. I don't know. It's a dart throw, but I think he could be good.
I've seen worse picks. Jonnu Smith is a talented kid at tight end, and he's a very good pass catcher. He just needs to be used more.
Yep.
Pine Pros. One thing we're bringing back this week, or not bringing back, starting this week.
Yeah.
These are guys you should consider riding the bench due to poor prospects in this week. And just
basically, we're saying fade the fuck out of these guys, right?
This week in particular, but maybe even down the road.
Yeah.
Consider it. And I'm going to go ahead and say Caleb Williams. That's my quarterback. He's going against Green Bay this week. Excellent pass defense in Green Bay. They have 2 of the top-ranked safeties in the league. Right behind Brian Branch and my boy Kirby Joseph. No big deal. But I think he's just going to have a terrible, terrible week.
I thought he'd be so much better by this point of the season.
He's regressing.
Yeah, and they haven't had a touchdown.
But they do have
games. They haven't had a touchdown.
They have a new offensive coordinator, Tom Brown.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Tom Brown.
Get to know Tom Brown.
So good call with Caleb. I'm going to Atlanta, and I'm picking Kirk Cousins as my fade of the week. So Denver's D is no joke. And
no joke, man.
Going into Denver, I mean, they might win the game, but I don't see them getting 24 to 30 whatever points, right? So I think this is a game where if they win 17-14.
You know who's out this week?
Who's out this week?
Let me confirm it.
What?
Darnell Mooney.
Oh, he is actually going to play.
Is he?
He is going to play. But he's banged up, and I don't know. Bijan's been great. There's like so many positives you could draw out of Atlanta. But last week, Cousins only had 11 fantasy points in standard leagues.
Oh, you know what he does after that?
What?
Usually rebounds.
Nah. So my pick, I'm fading Kirk Cousins.
Okay, Kirk Cousins. Fade him out.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
And I'm going to 100% fade out, and I will say I have him in this. Mm-hmm. I have him in my leagues. In this league in Big Biz, I actually traded him for Scary Terry, which didn't work out last night. But I have him in another league, and I sat him the week before, and I sat him this week, and that's CD Lamb.
Uh-huh.
And until I see anything to prove this wrong, he is not startable. If you have 2 better options.
I do not
2 or 3 better options.
what he's saying right now. So
and it's ridiculous because talent-wise, No
I think
question.
any guy could get him the ball, but
If you can get anybody that could pass half decently, he's an automatic start in every
of course
single
it's CD Lamb, but
But Cooper Rush
solid fade.
and Trey Lance with a defense that's not playing well, I don't like it.
Yeah, no,
like
it's a good fade. So mine's a little bit deeper, but a lot of people have been playing Josh Downs, who has looked great with Joe Flacco. So his fantasy numbers have been spectacular, especially in PPR leagues. Josh Downs has been absolutely killing it in PPR leagues with Flacco. Even though Flacco's struggled the last 2 weeks, Josh Downs is like the first guy that he's looking at.
Yeah.
Now that they are switching back to Anthony Energy Drink Richardson, I would fade the fuck out of this guy.
I am going to get eaten alive for saying CeeDee Lamb, but I don't care.
No, I think it's a solid pick.
I sat him last week in my other leagues, and I'm glad I did.
He only had, like 2 points or something like that last week.
And I just don't see a prospect. It is wild because that guy was a first-round pick to a lot of people.
Yep.
And he is just, and it's not that his talent isn't there. Remember, I'm throwing in a combination of this, going way too long for this conversation. Combination of him on a team that's not making the playoffs, doesn't have the starting quarterback, his heart's not in it, he's not going to lay out for the football, he's not going to try for injuries, he's just going to play for a paycheck right now, by all means. But you're going to put him on my fantasy bench. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. So anyways, my final thoughts on Josh Downs is
Sorry, I had to get that in
if you look at his numbers with Flacco and with Richardson's night and day difference, he's with Richardson, fade him, don't play him.
Agreed.
Okay.
Running backs.
For running backs.
Another one that's a little bit crazy, but this is, I think, just for this week right now.
I like
it's
this
for this
pick.
week.
I like all his picks this week. So yeah,
I think
this
it's
is
just,
good.
and I think it's just for this week. If you have the option to not play this guy,
Yep.
you got to sit J.K. Dobbins. Reason being, there's a solid run defense in Cincinnati. The game script may be super against him. Now, we all know that, obviously, the Chargers have... Not the Chargers, sorry. Is it Chargers? No, who's playing it? I'm fucking...
It's a joke. We have to cut this part out, right?
No. Listen,
No, it's
I'm gonna justify this.
for you. Okay. Yeah. No.
I have very young twins, and I am exhausted, so I apologize. But I put this in there because the run D is obviously very good in Cincy. Game script might be against him. Gus Bus is back, and I think the resurgence of Gus Bus spells a little bit of a worry for taking some of the snaps away from
Hawk Tua is starting Gus Bus against me this week. So that's why I would fade for no logic, no statistics, no nothing.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins, fade him. Gus Bus gonna get 100 points against me this week. So yeah.
And this is the reason why, listen, folks, we don't edit this show. When I make a mistake, it's gonna be in here.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's gonna be in here.
And just for the record, I have a niece and nephew, and I love them so much.
I love my boys.
But they let me sleep. And my fade running back of the week is Najee motherfucking Harris. He's been on fire over the last month. 100-yard games, touchdowns.
On fuego.
On fuego. But kind of coinciding with what you said about Russell Wilson and the passing game. Baltimore being susceptible to passes,
script.
right? Yeah, so it's
Game
all
script.
great. Game script.
Game script.
And it's a divisional matchup, and it's always like a grind-out game. So I could see Najee getting like 20 carries, no problem. But I think it's like a 60-yard, the 20 carries for like 60 yards and no touchdowns.
Jalen Warren's also healthy again.
I don't care. But yeah, fade
Jalen
Najee
Warren's
Harris.
good.
Fade him. Fade him. Fade him.
Who we fading on tight end?
My fade or your fade? You go first.
All right. Evan Engram.
Yeah. Why? Because he plays for Jacksonville and they're fucking garbage? Nice.
I like Evan Engram as a tight end, and I think any other week, if you have him, you're gonna be playing him. I think he's a super talented guy. There's not with the quarterbacks they have.
Yep.
Even if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, you're starting him for sure.
Sure.
Mac Jones, you're almost starting him more
Yep.
because I think he's gonna lose a lot of checkdowns. Sure-handed tight end. But you're going against a defense in Detroit who has the best tight end defense in the league statistically.
I like it.
Set him out.
Yep.
Sorry.
Hit the pine, bro.
Sorry, it's not a good week for Jacksonville.
Mine's kind of an easy one too, but I mean, tight ends are tight ends, so it's like, yeah.
And last week,
There's not much of a gap between like the great tight ends and the ones that you fade, right?
well,
So
Laporta had a touchdown against him last week.
Yep. Yeah. So my fade is, I guess his first name's Jake, but I call him Turd Ferguson. So yeah, Turd Ferguson against Houston.
Yeah.
Again, we've been beating a dead horse with Pooper Rush and Trey Lance. I don't think that he's going to get a lot of catches. But the reason why I'm fading him is because people are still starting him in leagues, which is crazy. I mean, like,
weird for tight ends
he was a
this
guy that got drafted in like around like the round 8 range, and people were like, yeah, he's gonna have a solid year. But like Dak's gone,
Yeah.
He's not having a solid year. He is a waiver wire guy at this point, and I definitely wouldn't feel like obligated to play him because you drafted him high, right?
Agreed.
He's not one of those main guys anymore.
That's the way she goes.
Yeah.
But that's the three new things we got: Super Spies, the Top Guns, and then the Pine Pros.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
This was a good pod.
we'll get through it even quicker next time. But that's the shortened version of the pod. Do we have any final thoughts?
No.
Not really. Yeah.
If Mike Tyson knocks out Jake Paul tonight, I mean,
Ooh.
he's fighting for our generation, people. He's fighting for our generation.
Go.
This hasn't, final thought, nothing to do with football, but I want to see Mike Tyson knock that YouTuber out. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Here's a question for anybody who made it this far in the pod. How many of you would give up a championship in your league to watch Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul? Because I would. I think I genuinely would.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because like I hate Jake Paul that much, but I do. But the kid can promote. He's a genuine boxer.
Yeah.
There's no question. He's a genuine boxer. I just want Mike
He
Tyson
should,
to
in
retain
theory, be
that.
an inspiration to us because like,
100%.
YouTube was his like,
100%.
thing. But just
But-
fucking hit him right.
But also at the same time, Mike Tyson's our generation.
Yeah.
Right? We're
This
a bit older.
This is a great weekend, right? So Saturday morning, episode 12 gets released. We've got
You're
a
putting
Mike
me on.
Tyson-
Okay. Put
Yeah,
me on
we
Saturday
got-
morning.
We got
It's my kid's birthday tomorrow. No big deal.
just load it up, man. Do the edit. It's fine. We got Mike Tyson today, and we got John Bones Jones tomorrow too. So he's gonna crush it. So yeah, it's a good sports weekend. But
is.
Back to football. Happy football, everybody.
Happy
Good
football.
luck to everyone except Hawk2 and Silent Ninja. I'm still mad at you. So,
I don't know who I'm playing this week. Oh no, Snorlax.
Yeah,
Dead Snorlax.
shave him this week, eh?
Oh.
Shave him.
Might have to shave you.
Turn him into a seal.
That's all we got.
Happy football, everybody.
Football. Shave the Snorlax.
Shave him. Shave him. You better get a good razor for that one.